Hey everyone, this is just a quick video. Well, you never know with me. I mean, I say it could be quick. It might just waffle on for about an hour, but we'll see how we go. But this is basically a process that I wanted to share with all of you at the moment, just for anyone going through any tricky times, especially in terms of relationship at the moment, with that beautiful micro pink full moon in Libra, and Libra obviously being the balance of the polarities. Me being Libra, I understand this quite well. And I'm also Aries rising and a Pisces moon. So the balance of the polarities and dealing with the emotions and the water and all of the bits that go with it is an interesting thing at the moment. But for those of you who have either been feeling a bit of turmoil within yourself, within the parts of yourself that you're trying to bring into balance, or in terms of relationship, anywhere you may have had run-ins with somebody else, or I'll tell you what feels really, really strong at the moment is the mirror in relationships, where especially at the moment, the mirroring of wounding is coming up for a lot of people, and it can be really, really, really hard when your own wounds are triggered, especially with people that you're trying to help, or where you're trying to move through something with somebody. If your own wounds are triggered, just take a step back, take a breath, come back into unconditional love. What's happening at the moment is we're being really asked to come right up and out of our victim-villain programming and come back into neutrality. So anywhere you may have been tempted to go into your wounding, go into your inner victim, rehash or relive old trauma, or indeed anywhere you're facing new trauma, my guide said to me today, trauma is catching. It can be catching, because if somebody who's in trauma acts out from that wounding, it can actually inflict new trauma on another person. And as empaths and healers, really, it's our job, it's our role to not take that on, and to sit neutral and to sit in unconditional love, to really hold space for whatever that situation is. And, I was talking to a dear client this morning, and we were talking about separating the program from the person. I also had this conversation with another dear friend of mine who's another healer around, it's the program, not the person. And I know that there's a lot of information flying around at the moment around narcissism and empathy and all of that. But from a transcended space, if we can sit back, and that's not to negate or take away from the fact that, people who've been through trauma may have really gone through real harm at the hands of other people. That's not to negate that or bypass that. But a really lovely exercise in terms of your own healing is to let go even of the need to know why. Sometimes our logical mind kind of goes into this, I need to know why this happened. I need to understand why this happened to me and learn that lesson. But sometimes if we can just sit back and come back into neutral as much as we can, I know it's a tricky one, and look at the parts that are in opposition as though they're energies. We sit in a realm of duality here. So it could be that there is a person that's been difficult, that's been difficult in your life. If you could imagine them and all their programming, all of their issues, even their shadow, even their wounding, as though you're holding it in a sphere in your hand, as though you're holding almost their consciousness and all their programming in a sphere in one hand. And especially if it's a person that's been aggressive towards you, because the right hand is sort of more masculine, we can put that in the right hand. If someone's been difficult towards you, put them in the right hand. And through unconditional love, just loving the soul, not attaching to the program or any judgment, just without judgment, just holding them lovingly in one hand. And then holding yourself with all your programming in the other hand. And seeing, the separation in consciousness here. When we realize that on some level There's always a mirroring going on somewhere, even if we can't find it, even if we don't know what it is. And we honor that all souls are one soul. All energies are one energy. All programs are one program. It may not be a person you're dealing with. It could be two decisions that you've got to make, a choice that you've got to make. And you need to find the answer. So it could be that, well, this way feels quite attractive, that way feels quite attractive, can't make a choice. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring it together. And this process allows for the miraculous to occur. It acknowledges that on a human level, we don't always have all of the answers. Now, as healers, we're often expected to have all the answers for our clients and the people that are coming to be in our care. And sometimes we just don't have all the answers. We're not here to wave a magic wand and miraculously fix things. And sometimes, you know, that can be hard because we have a duty of care. We really want to help people. But at a certain point, you have to hand over responsibility to the person and their higher self and acknowledge that you may not have all the answers. And this is the same when you're an empath and you have lots of friends coming to you for advice and wanting to know that advice. It's also a really cool program and exercise to just do for yourself if you're feeling a certain way and you don't know why you're feeling this way, because there's a lot of energy flying around on the planet. So it could be that all the discordant energy you hold in one hand and yourself you hold in the other, or the lovely energy that you want to feel, you hold in the other. Like, how do you want to feel? How are you feeling? So whether it's a person or a program, whatever's causing you an issue, just hold that in your right hand. You might see it as like a dark sphere or a cloudy sphere, and how you want to feel. You might see that as a beautiful pearl or a light sphere. And so you're going to hold those two spheres in either hand. In your heart, you're going to open a third sphere, which is the unconditional love energy of your higher self, the alchemizing principle of love. And unconditional love is love without judgment. So you hold that in your heart, that beautiful sphere like an inner sun. And then from above, bringing down over the crown of your head, a white sphere of higher wisdom. So bringing the answers from the divine down into and over your own mind. So you're crowned with wisdom. Your heart is open with unconditional love. Now what you're going to do is just holding those two programs, whatever you're perceiving to be the negative or the tricky situation, person or experience, just lovingly holding it in one hand, and how you want to feel or how you'd rather feel, and the energy of healing and intuition and gentleness and grace. In the other hand, it could be that it's the other person and yourself, but whatever it is, whatever you're perceiving as the two opposites, okay, two opposing forces. And I've done this process with clients before where, especially in couples that are having an issue, so it could be that the husband, you're holding your husband in your right hand and yourself in the left hand. And wherever there's two opposing forces, here. And they don't always have to be light and dark. They could just be differences of opinion. Like I said, different choices. But we want to sit back and we're going to do it's an alchemizing process where we let go of the need to have all the answers. You're going to hold these two energies now. So just hold them out in front of you. And we're acknowledging that we don't know. We may not know what we need to heal it. But through unconditional love, you're going to bring those opposing forces together. And it's a bit like two spheres together to form the Vesica Pisces, that beautiful almond shape in the middle. But we're going to merge the spheres fully together and place them in one sphere of energy in front of you. And you can either keep your eyes open or you can close your eyes. And you're just going to let those two opposing forces come together. And sometimes this can feel a little bit like a storm in a teacup. So I allow the energy to come together. You might even feel tingling in the palms of your hands as you feel these forces come together, because it's like you're mixing polarities here, but you're doing it through unconditional love. Hold it. You might even feel a stirring within you. You might feel your own opposing forces within you kind of clashing and trying to find their place. You might feel pressure in the body as these energies come together. So I hold it and I imagine it's like you know, almost like it's all churning up, stirring up, mingling and mixing. But eventually it's going to find a neutral point. It's going to find a common ground, because our intention is unconditional love. And even if we don't know what's causing the opposition or the separation, we're bringing it together, and the intention is to find the most divine, most healthy, most loving solution in the situation. Letting go of the need to have the answers yourself, and trusting that the divine will drop the answers in at the right time. Take a deep breath in, breathe away all the worry, the stress, the chaos. Let the chaos just happen in this energy sphere that you're holding in your hands. Because from what feels like seeming destruction can often come creation and solution. So again, if this is between you and another person, or if it's between two parts of yourself, whatever it is, asking for peace, asking for grace. So I'm just going to do the process. I'm just observing here. Until you feel it run clear and run neutral. And then you're going to place it in the golden sphere of your heart. To bring it back into wholeness and oneness. And you're acknowledging, I'm offering my love, I'm offering my forgiveness, I'm offering divine love, and I'm asking for wisdom. And we're going to bring that white sphere of wisdom all the way down also into the heart. So the four spheres of the two opposing forces, the love and the wisdom, come into the oneness in the heart. And now we're going to imagine another sphere of light, a beautiful blazing sun opening in the belly. This is divine will. And divine will is like we will it so. We will this to be healed. We desire it. We ask for it, and now we will it. So you're calling up your power here. You're going to bring this blazing sun of all your solar power, place it also in the heart. And the number 5, so we now have 5 spheres. The number 5 is a number of transformation, potent transformation and alchemy. If we think of the 5 elements all coming together. So you've got the heart, you've got the wisdom, you've got the two opposing forces, and you've got your will. And you bring all of those 5 spheres together in the heart and just feel the alchemy happen. And now you release it all and you feel it completely transmuted, dissolved, and you surrender it all in the heart. So you have told the divine, it is my will that these two opposing forces be healed, and that the highest and best solution and healing happen. That be made apparent, that come forward, and you completely surrender and trust and let go. So one good example of this is if you're working internally and you're working on two parts of yourself, and it could be two wounded parts of yourself. It could be that one part of you is the part of you that feels angry and wants to shout and wants to get mad about something in order to feel more empowered, but then afterwards may regret that action if it's a pattern. And the other part might be the part of you that feels frightened and vulnerable and scared of being re-traumatized by something, or frightened of attack and so lashes out, or vice versa. So those two parts, whether that's what those two parts represent, but those two parts, if you can just hold them lovingly as two halves of yourself. So this is sometimes what the mirror brings up within us. Hold them lovingly as two parts of yourself. Bring them together. And I'm just doing this as a little demo, but as you do this, I'm just aware of a very, very old crack of separation. And I'm being told this is in humanity. It's in all of humanity in the core of this victim-villain program. But as I hold these two parts together, I'm even feeling it internally in myself and seeing it sealing up in golden light, like an old massive heartbreak that sort of separates us from ourselves in a way, right? This you know, a traumatized society that feels separate from their true power, which is divine, is easier to manipulate and control. So as we do this, we're really reclaiming our power, healing those halves, coming back into wholeness, releasing all shock and trauma, releasing all grief or sadness or anger or resentment or shame or blame, transmuting it, honoring all the emotions and all the feelings. And then as that wound heals, but bringing it into the heart, the alchemy of unconditional love and neutrality, bringing those parts of you back into wholeness. It's like you're saying, come home. I honor and accept both parts of me. I recognize the light and the shadow in me and in all things. And I'm really tempted to Ho'oponopono. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. All is forgiven. I love you. Thank you. Then bringing the wisdom and the will together again in the heart, the 5 spheres becoming one. I have the wisdom to know that 2 halves make a whole. I have the wisdom to know that, you know, whatever's showing up in my life is, you know, it's not passing by me. It's coming into my sphere of awareness so that I can heal some part of it in me. And I take responsibility for the things that show up on my doorstep so that I can heal them. I can heal them in myself. But I always, whenever I do any healing, not as a rescuer or whatever, it's not going out there to rescue it, but whenever we do any healing on ourselves, we really do have a ripple effect on the collective. So any healing I do for me or any group healing or anything, I always set the intention that healing also be made available to all. So even if there are those that aren't aware of how to do that, that the knowledge of it could drop in for them. It goes out into the ethers, it goes out into the grids, it goes out into the collective consciousness. It's like the 100 monkey syndrome, you know, one monkey learns how to go to the other island for food and soon all the monkeys are somehow getting there. So we do, it's like herd mentality, but once one knows how to do this, it's made available to the many, and that's how collective consciousness works. And we're doing it really fast now, so bringing it into wholeness, honoring yourself. And I'm really aware as well of a heartbreak at the back of the heart, sealing up, and an old shield, an old false protection just dissolving away. No need for that anymore. And this is potentially how some of us, you know, don't allow people in or aren't open to receive, or maybe aren't trusting others. When you've been through trauma, abuse, attack, it's really hard to trust other people. So again, go gently, gently, gently with yourself. And in unconditional love, just coming back into wholeness. And that's as simple as the process is. So I hope you have enjoyed this process, and I hope that it just offers some help and some relief as we go through these tricky, tricky times. And again, it's okay to acknowledge that we don't always have all the answers. Sometimes we don't know why something's happening to us, and we can hand things over to the divine when that is the case. And, you know, more often than not in my healing sessions, there's a lot that's going on that we don't know, that we have to ask at the end of every healing session. I'm like, and is there something else that we don't know that we need to heal? And I always leave space for that and leave space for the miracles to drop in. And it's a very, very powerful process because it separates it out from you. By holding it in either hand, you're saying, you know, I don't know what to do with this. It's like we're offering it up to the divine. We're saying, I don't know what to do with this situation, but I'm refusing to attach to victim or villain. I'm refusing to attach myself to light or dark, to blame or shame or any of those programs. And I'm acknowledging that I trust the divine to work through me to alchemize this, that the highest solution will occur. We can even do this for the planet, you know. We can think of two opposing countries, two opposing opinions, asking for really what we're asking for is for the truth to reveal itself, the highest truth. So if you've got two like stories playing out in the news and you don't know what the truth is, just bring those two spheres together. Did it really happen? Is it what they're saying? What is the truth? Bring it together, neutralize into the heart, and the truth, the wisdom, and the will that makes it so, that brings it to light and that reveals it. And it's like we're asking for, you know, that truth to drop in when we least expect it. And finally, just close your eyes, and what you're going to do is you're going to ask to see a symbol of affirmation, a symbol of confirmation, and it's going to be a personal symbol to you. So I am seeing a gold key with two wings, two angel wings, a key that sort of unlocks truth. That's the symbol I'm being given. So keep your eye out as well, because that's a symbol for whoever's watching this and for the group. Keep your eye out for a gold key with two wings, two white wings. But whatever symbol appears to you in your mind's eye as a piece of confirmation that this healing has occurred. And now the key is, let go of the lust for the result. Let go of the need to have the answers right away. Every time you think of it, let it go. It's like alchemy magic. Let it go. Absolutely trust the universe. I don't need to know how this is going to heal. I just trust that it's going to heal. And however it plays out, I always remember that message I got from the White Spring, the dust will settle, however it plays out. This is all playing out within all of us. There's a lot of polarity at the moment as we've come through the eclipse gateway, and that huge, it was a micro pink moon, but it was very, very like laser sharp. It is almost like it is putting lasers into our wounds and making us really look at them. So be super loving and gentle with yourself and with everybody else. There's a few other processes on my videos, the beautiful Ho'oponopono prayer. There's a beautiful Archangel Chamuel process to do with relationships. Our relationships are really under the microscope at the minute. So just, you know, your first relationship is always with you. But it's through unconditional love that we can heal everything. Unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion, and softness. You know, I think everybody on this planet has been through trauma of some kind. Let's be let's let the buck stop here. Let's not pass the trauma on. So as much as you can, go in and heal those wounds, those opposing forces within yourself. Use the mirror as gently as you can without blame or shame on yourself. Self-forgiveness is the key. Bless your inner child, bless your inner adult, bless your shadow, bless your light, bless all parts of you and each other. And just remember, we're all holding hands and walking each other home on some level. And the guidance here coming through from the teams is just be mindful of trying to put labels on things. I am always reminded that when we point the finger, we've usually got three pointing back at us. But gently is the way, lovingly is the way. Take care of yourselves, look after yourselves. I've done this process a few times this week with various clients, and there's been a lot of stuff coming up with relationship and just that sense of having been really, really disempowered, and the various ways in which humanity as individuals are all clamoring to get our power back. And, you know, it's an interesting array of ways and means that this is kind of playing out on the planet. It can feel like a free-for-all at times. But in finding our center again, you know, we don't have to push people away or throw our anger out or throw our power away. So just be super loving and gentle. The more loving and gentle you are with yourself, the easier it is for you to attract in love and gentleness, and vice versa, to give that out. So lots of love. I hope this is a helpful process. I'd love to hear your comments if you try the process. Again, intention is unconditional love. Please help me heal this wounding, heal this separation, heal this polarity. I'm always reminded of that yin and yang symbol, but instead of it being, you know, two separate things, I'm just seeing it all swirling and mixing and mingling together so that it becomes like one energy. Really allow that, you know, the energy does feel like it grows in potency. It almost goes and churns up in the sphere. But then when it settles, when it calms, then bring it into the heart and ask for that healing to occur. So bless you all. Hope you enjoy the alchemy, and I'm sending you lots and lots of love.